It's amazing.
And they're all lined up for our show.
They are, mate. They are. Like happy days.
Well, happy days and welcome. We're still out here, AIMExpo, day 2, rounding out the afternoon with none other than Rennie. So for my audience, give me a little introduction of who you are and a background of what to expect in this delightful conversation.
Oh, geez, you put me on the spot here. My name's Rennie Scaysbrook. I am from Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Moved over to America in 2015 after a career as a motorcycle journalist in Australia.
Brief stint as a DJ.
Brief stint as a DJ, yep. Didn't go very well. But then, came over in 2015 and, being the editor of Cycle News, road test editor at Cycle News ever since.
Well, and I've talked to a couple journalists at this point, and so when you say a road test editor, that's because your perspective on bikes is valuable. It's very valid. You have experience.
I hope so.
You hope so.
Yeah.
Well, to the point that somebody just did the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
A couple times,
yeah.
Yeah, and so like to be a proficient rider to even attempt that, you're worth your weight.
Thanks.
You like to think you know what you're talking about.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, that was always the dream to get there, so I'm glad I got it.
It was really exciting to watch, and so for the folks that don't know, I've been friends with Rennie now for a while. We've been many places, we've seen many things, lots of exciting stories,
Yep.
And now only a tiny country of America keeps us apart. But when we get back together, it's like nothing's changed.
No, and I think the older you get, if you meet genuine people, the less distance matters.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's part of what has moving to America has taught me, because I'm still just as good of friends with the mates that I had in Australia, but I have now made a lot of friends in America. That the funny thing about America too is it's like distance doesn't matter so much. And I don't know, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got this theory that like Americans, you go to college in different areas, right? Like everyone grows up in their own town and then they fuck off to different areas. My neighbor is a perfect...
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah. My neighbor is a perfect example. She grew up in Nashville. She went to bloody Washington, D.C. for college, and she ended up in, I think, Chicago, and now she lives in Southern California. So people are from all over the place. So distance doesn't matter as much. It's more about genuine connection. You then have a lot less space for genuine connection because you only have so many fucks to give.
As you age.
Yeah, as you age.
Yeah.
But the US has taught me a lot that, the right people are in your life at the right time.
Yeah.
And they're very, very easy to find. They're very, very easy to just go, nah, I'm not hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And, if the universe wants you to hang out, you will in the end.
Well, and are you a citizen at this point? Are you?
No.
Damn it.
No.
Still?
Still not. 10 years. No.
Come on.
No. I've got the...
Arguably the most American I know. Rennie over here could be waving this flag.
Yeah. I'm probably more American than most Americans at this point.
Damn.
No, I'm not. I'm still on a visa. I've got a 7-year-old American boy who has an American passport. He's a dual citizen, but he is first and foremost American. For a long time before he got his Australian citizenship. But yeah, no, I'm not.
Well, and forgive my ignorance. I'm not really well versed in the news and the latest in politics, but like in this new administration, you hear all these random things flying around. Does it affect you in that capacity too? Is your head on a swivel?
A little bit.
Am I an ICE officer?
Maybe.
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 Check out my shirt.
Fuck, I hope not. No, look, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't concerning. The whole birthright citizenship thing, I mean, like, I've had this conversation with so many people, and unfortunately a lot of people's true colours have come out as a result about this, and I've kind of gone, oh, okay. But
you're not brown.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
But no, our whole thing was like, my wife and I, Annabelle, like, we had an American son. It was just like, that was the right time. But it was never this case of like, oh, we're going to move to America and have an American kid so we can do all this stuff. It was never any of that stuff. It just kind of happened. And we were both at the right age, and it is what it is. And I'm bloody proud to have an American son. I always have been. Because America has been so good to me. Like, my life within America has never been planned at all, ever. You know, it's always just been like, oh, cool, let's do. I mean, Christ, you and I have known each other forever. It's just like, sick, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. Tight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's been rad.
Yeah.
So when I see what's going on now, it is, it's worrying. We're good in terms of we haven't done anything wrong. We came to this country legally. I paid the taxes, rah, rah, rah. Like, did all that stuff. So we're good. But, not going to put political views or anything into this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I am a little concerned, but I think we're all right.
Okay. Well, I don't want to lose you anytime soon. But I've yet to travel to Australia, oddly.
Mate, you go down like a bloody frog in a sock down there.
I feel like I'd have a great time.
You would.
Yeah.
Mate.
We'll add it to the list of things to do. But, so just to give a little perspective to this relationship, one of our most recent but not so recent trips that we went on was to Cologne.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity, him being a tester, a writer, and a rider, we were in Germany for...
So we went there for... Wunderlich.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Wunderlich, which was in collaboration with my sponsorship from Metzler for the Isle of Man and Pirelli and all that kind of stuff. And we got rained out.
It was a big rain.
Rained out. Like not just a little bit.
It
like
was.
We got flooded out.
It didn't just affect, because you were going to hit the Nürburgring. We were going to do a bunch of great riding and shooting. But it just happened to be the monsoon of monsoons that ended up flooding.
Well, remember, we were in that little cafe in the morning, and in the afternoon, that cafe wasn't there.
I was having a chocolate and my cigarette, and then gone. And we're watching on the news and stuff, and bless those folks that took us still on a ride. Like, just outside, we weren't allowed on the track, but those dudes, you remember their names? They were crazy.
Yeah,
but they had grown up local there, and so whatever experience we had outside of the track felt to me, I was nut to butt with that dude, and that was a wild ride.
Oh, it was,
Yeah, we did not sign any paperwork for that experience.
Oh, that's the great thing about the Germans, man.
It was great.
Just take the pill and enjoy the ride.
But then after we did that day, we retired, and then the rain didn't stop, and unfortunately, it really affected Germany, that area, and I think a handful of folks died, and that cafe we were at washed away. A lot of really cool stuff, and so it was definitely an experience, but one that I'm always glad we get to have those wherever we end up along the way. It's always a wild ride.
Yeah. I mean, that was. It's funny because I haven't thought about that for a while, and that really was really intense. I mean, like that whole section, especially where that cafe was and everything, and then I just came back from Valencia last week in Spain, and those guys had a year's worth of rainfall in one day.
Really?
Yeah. One day they got a year's worth of rainfall, and that's the same thing that happened in Germany when you and I were there. And it's just like the devastation that brings is unreal.
Well,
Absolutely
and
unreal.
being from Florida, I'm hip to hurricanes, and we know what to expect. And my folks live on an island, so when there's storm surge and things like that, it sucks, and it's super dramatic, and its effects and all the things. But you're kind of like aware that that's a possibility, and you grin and bear it. But like Spain, Germany, those were just like curveballs.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and so it's super devastating when there's zero prep for it, that just comes out of nowhere, left field. But
Anyway.
Anyway, back to AIMExpo 2025. So, Rennie, you've had a wild life. You're a fast boy. I feel like I missed out on all of Isle of Man stuff. Like I remember you were heading into it, and it was before I had left the West Coast, and so I was still privy to all things. Because I remember we even started testing. What was that track? What was it? Shane was there.
Chuck Waller.
Yeah, and so I felt like that was the very beginning of then what has been the last few years. What was the experience, and even the first time on Isle of Man? Like, what was that like? I'm pretty thick-skinned, I think, when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I've grown up about it. Like my father's a 3-time TT racer, and I grew up watching TT videos, and to go back a little bit further, like the whole Pikes Peak thing was, I wouldn't say it was a stepping stone to getting there, but it was kind of like what I thought I could achieve at the time.
And so I put everything in doing that, and then I got there, and then I was like, oh, hang on, maybe I can go to the Isle of Man. And then so I sent a message off to my friend David Johnson, and within a couple of minutes I had a call from Paul Phillips, who's the general manager of the race, to go over and that's the thing. It's like you don't get invited to the Isle of Man you don't go to the Isle of Man to just go race.
Right.
You have to get invited there. You also have to go there on your own accord to check the place out, especially if you're not from the UK, because it's super easy from the UK. You just get on a flight or you get on a ferry and you're there. Whereas you go to the Isle of Man, especially if you're a European or you're an Australian or an American or whatever, African, a lot of Africans, South Africans are going there, and you got to spend a lot of time there knowing the course. So I had spent a year playing the PlayStation game, watching onboards, like just consuming content.
Every turn.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
And the first time I saw the place, it was weird because I was just like, oh shit, this is it. Like it doesn't look like a racetrack at first. Everything, it just looks like a road. It just looks like a normal road. And
going through a village.
Yeah, it's weird. It's different to Pikes Peak because Pikes Peak somehow or other, it's because it's so weird. Like it almost looks more of a racetrack than what the Isle of Man looks like.
A racetrack on Mars.
Kinda, yeah. Whereas like the racetrack at the Isle of Man is just a road. If you didn't know that was the racetrack, you never would have known it existed. And so when you go on you do these first, I think it's 5 days or something or other, and you've got Milky Quayle and Johnny Barton. They're called rookie liaison officers. And so every morning I did laps with Johnny, and then I did one lap with Milky. And basically what they do is they casually test you, I guess. It's like, oh, what's coming up here? What's the name of this place? You know, what was just before us? They just like, and you never know when the questions are going to come.
Does each turn and everything have a name and a designation? And so that is what they're asking.
Every single corner has a name. You don't necessarily have to remember all the names. I mean, it's 37 miles long. But you absolutely have to know where it goes.
Yeah.
If you don't know where it goes, then you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And because nowadays, like the Isle of Man was always that thing where it was like almost a fast road ride.
Yeah.
Whereas now it is a pro race. Like it is absolutely.
It's terrifying.
World-class pro race. Like when you see how fast they go now, that's level. But so yeah. Anyway, you go there, you do your thing, and then they will either tell you, yes, you can go advance to the next stage, at which point you're allowed to pre-qualify. And then when you go to the Isle of Man for your first time, you have your team, you have your bike, and all that sort of stuff. You're part of the show. And then the very first people out on the very first day of practice are the rookie riders. And your job as a rookie rider is to stay with either Milky or Johnny. And those guys have done more laps around the TT course than absolutely anybody in history. They will do a 150 mile an hour lap sitting on their heads.
Yeah.
And so your job is to stay with them. If you can't stay with them,
you're not in the right place.
You're not allowed to race.
Yeah.
And so when I did my lap, I was behind Milky. Milky was on a CBR 1000, and I was on a GSXR 600 Suzuki. And I just ragged the shit out of this thing, and I'm like, I am not losing this guy.
Yeah.
And when you see something, you go down your street that you grew up, right? You go down it at 20 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Cool. Hit it at 170 mile an hour.
Yeah.
It becomes an entirely different street.
Right.
Then translate that into 37 miles long that you've never actually done before.
Right.
And that gives you an idea of what the place is like. Luckily, I passed, and then I could start the race. And yeah, off we went.
How did you perform? What was the experience?
The first year I thought I did pretty well for what I had. I mean, I got.
Well, and sincerely, sorry to interrupt, but like knowing what you were doing and the amount of intensity and intention you had into the race and how much it meant to you, like I knew how much it meant to you and how serious it was in all things. And especially coming off of Pikes Peak, like clearly a little PTSD from the experience. I was very concerned for you. I never, obviously I didn't need to express it, and I'm sure any other person the same, but knowing how serious we were about it, like wanting all the best for you, and I was like, oh, he's going to go fucking crush it. I still was very aware. I'm like, the race as it is dangerous as fuck, and I knew you weren't going to go slow. It wasn't. You weren't there just to try it out. You were there to like perform.
Yeah, I mean the TT now. I mean, there was a difference between Pikes Peak and the Isle of Man. Like Pikes Peak, I knew I could win it. From the moment I rode there, I knew I could win it. I mean, I won it in not very nice circumstances, but it is what it is. The TT, I never had any inclination of winning. It was always just TT is almost that thing of like going there against yourself, unless you are. That's your deal, you know. Like
unless you're milky.
Hickman, yeah, you're Peter Hickman, you're bloody Dean Harrison, David Johnson, Michael Dunlop, where that's life. Okay, those guys are different. You know, like just to get accepted to race it, that means you're part of an upper echelon of guys.
How many guys?
So when the Superbike races are 50 guys now are allowed to take the start. So you have to qualify with. Before they didn't used to have qualifying limits. It's called 110% cutoff. Basically, all the major world championships around the world, they all use it. So MotoGP, World Superbike, World Endurance, whatever. If you are not within the 107% or the fastest time, I don't know exactly what that works out to be at the TT, but you shouldn't be there. The idea is basically you should never get lapped.
Right.
If you get lapped at the TT, if you're on a 37-mile course and you get lapped, fucking get out of here. You shouldn't be there. And
you're a road hazard.
Yeah, you are. You are a road hazard because like there's no runoff.
Turning on their blinkers.
Yeah, like what are you going to do? Go into old mate's kitchen and then come back out? Like, so they actually changed that rule after COVID because I was due to race in 2020 and then the race got cancelled. I was due to race in 2021. That got cancelled again. So then 2022, I was due to race. So I was in Supersport. The first year I was in Supersport, there was 60 riders. If you were 61st, forget it, you're out. And there was 100-something riders that tried to qualify, so 40-plus guys that didn't make the cut. I don't know exactly what I was. I think I finished 31st or 32nd or something like that. I don't know. But again, it was like, I knew it was a different mindset. You know, like TT was go there against yourself. It's like go to the gym. Almost, like you go there to be better than you were the day before. You're not going there to win bloody CrossFit Olympics. Whereas the Pikes Peak was a different mindset. I had a much better team, and that's the other thing. The teams that I rode for at the Isle of Man, I didn't know.
Right.
And I didn't know the bikes until basically I sat on them. I didn't see either of my TT bikes until I sat on the day of practice. Whereas the Pikes Peak bike, I developed that bike with KTM, with Aprilia. I knew that thing intimately. I picked my team, Jeremy Toy, Shane Pacilio. Like, I knew those guys. Like, we were there as a cohesive unit. We had one goal, and we were all for that same goal. Whereas when you just turn up as a paid rider to the TT, they're like, oh, cool, there's your bike, there's your tech, fucking Joe Blow, whatever. Yeah. You're like, oh, sick, okay, let's go. Go pin it on the world's most dangerous circuit.
Well, and even so Pikes Peak, I could drive it today in a car and I could get familiar with it. The TT as it exists, is it like for the race that everybody in the entire town knows the day is the day, everybody fuck off, don't do anything. Like you're not on a Thursday just going to go test the course.
No, so this was actually one of the coolest things ever. The first year that I got there a week before the start of practice. Because I was deadly afraid of having done my job for as long as I've done, where I'm always going back and forth to Europe and always getting done with jet lag. I was like, I am not getting screwed with jet lag with this. Like, forget it. So I got there a week before. And when you turn up to the Isle of Man a week before the race, a week before practice starts, because practice is a week and then racing is a week, it just looks like a country British town. And then you slowly see the place turn into a racetrack. Sponsored things go up, the grandstands go up, the curbing changes, and it just becomes this racetrack, like right before your eyes. And it's pretty cool. I got goosebumps thinking about it. Like, it's pretty cool.
Dang.
Like, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm actually kind of a part of this thing. Like, because it is the oldest motorsport event in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it started in 1907. It's only stopped for World War I, World War II, the foot and mouth outbreak, and COVID. That's it.
Yeah.
It's run every other year. It precedes the Monaco Grand Prix. It precedes the Indy 500.
Oh, shit.
It's the oldest event in the world. So when you see it like come to life before your eyes, you're like, fuck, this is cool.
Well, and the people that live there obviously understand the prestige and all things, and there's just unspoken rules about how to operate during those 2 weeks.
Yeah,
or does
pretty
everybody
much.
just like, I'm going on holiday?
Well, a lot of the
They get checks in the
residents-
mail.
Well, a lot of residents leave
Yeah.
because like half of them love it, half of them hate it.
Yeah.
But the fact remains, it's the number one economic driver of the island by an absolute country
Yeah.
mile. You know, like I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's like 45 million pounds or something. It puts
Oh,
into
shit,
the economy
yeah.
of 2 weeks. It's a not inconceivable amount of money, inconsiderate amount of money. But look, there's no getting away from the danger of it. A lot of people don't like it because of the dangerous. A lot of people like it because it's dangerous. And in our current climate, as we are, as people, as a human race, we are getting more and more away from things that are inherently dangerous and things that are obviously dangerous, which is the Isle of Man is
Right.
probably the best. I mean, you look at the Isle of Man TT and you look at like those dudes that do like bird suit jumping, you know, it's basically the same thing. But at the end of the day, people are there. The great thing about the Isle of Man is that they are. No one puts a gun to your head and says to do it. You have to really, really, really
Yeah.
want to do it. And there's a lot of people that really want to do it, but there's only a certain number of people that can do it. And kudos to the Isle of Man for this because they have really knuckled down hard on letting the people in. You have to have runs on the board.
Yeah.
You cannot.
So you're saying I don't have a shot?
You could.
Oh, shit.
You gotta
More optimistic than myself.
There we go.
I got a
you
long
gotta-
road.
You basically got to have a track record,
Yeah.
effectively, because there was
I got a criminal record.
there you go. That might work. There's actually a story of a French guy that got killed there in I think it was 2006, 2007. And no, he wasn't vetted or anything.
Oh.
And he went into Governor's Bridge, I think it is, Quarter Bridge, one or two, very, very close to the start, and hit the fence, and that was it. You know, and so that
And they
was
just checked his credentials. They're like, oh, shit, this guy just got his license.
probably
basically.
something like that, yeah. But it was that thing of the TT was always amateur, and that's when I think in the sort of not amateur. That's not fair because the guys that won it are gangsters. And if you win a TT, you're a fucking legend. Even you get on the podium, but it really became professional from 2010 onwards. By 2015, 16, it was pro.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't pro level, forget it.
Yeah.
You know, you won't even qualify. And qualifying, regardless of what people say, is a good thing because that at least then gives you a pecking order
Right.
of what you should be.
That makes sense. Well, then, having done that, I mean, being a bucket list thing and one of those big, life fucking things, what do you have left? What's next for you? You got a repo and
I don't know, man. I did what I wanted.
yeah.
Honestly, like, I don't know, I might sound like a bit of a dick, but I did what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in motorcycling that allowed me the ability to travel the world, to meet incredible people and make friendships that I never would have thought I would have made. I've been fortunate enough to have the respect of manufacturers that they would give me teams to race for them. Pirelli, Aprilia, KTM. Also then to go and, like, when I was a kid, all I ever wanted to be was a TT racer. It's all I wanted to be. Like, MotoGP's sick, but, like, I wanted to be a TT racer because that's what Dad was. I got to do it. Also, too, like, it takes a certain recklessness to want to do that.
Rennie, reckless? I don't know.
I don't know. I just kind of, like, maybe now I'm a bit like, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm good. So, I mean, like,
Back to the ones and twos.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, now, like, my boy's 7 years old. He's taking, as he should, more and more of the attention and can't keep being a selfish asshole for the rest of your life, so you may as well put
lean,
your life
lean into him, and then he can go faster than you.
Well, I mean, the good thing too is that I'm still there to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like there's the racing that I've been really good at has always been the most dangerous racing. It's not. I've never been a great circuit racer. Like I've won some races and stuff, but I was always better at street racing, and that's the one that gives you the least amount of lifespan.
Right.
So.
You've made it this far.
Yeah, I got this far. I'm good.
And we're happy to have you.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I haven't seen you. It's been too long since I've seen you. I'm always looking for reasons to come west, but it was a nice surprise to know that you were going to be here, and super happy to have you on the show. One of assumedly going to be many times. AIMExpo Day Tour, you're going to do the one show?
Yep, I'll be there. You know, like one of the great things about the US is the bike culture and the amount of cool stuff that people do that you don't think about.
Yeah.
You know, like all these design aspects. Like, I guess the older I get, the more I get interested in that stuff. You know, especially, I think the king of my style of what I really like as far as custom bikes is Roland Sands. I got to race with Roland in 2022, and I got to see how the whole system worked, and that performance cruisery kind of American EV20, whatever you want to call it. Like, I really dig that stuff. But man, I like fast bikes. I like all bikes, but I dig fast bikes, and I like fast bikes that are different too. Like, that Indian Chief that I raced in 2022. Like, if you showed me an Indian Chief and I went, yeah, you're going to race it this year, like, fuck off, I am. and then I rode, I was like, damn, man, that thing was awesome.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Oh man, I had a rad time. So I'm looking forward to the show. I think it'll be a great time.
Are you here in a professional capacity, or?
Yeah, a little bit. Cycle News has their booth over there, so just a little bit further up. So I'll be, bouncing around and doing that stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of here more as just a bit of a,
observer.
Shake babies and kiss hands
babies,
and all
dude.
that
Shake
stuff.
them babies and hang out with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got beers to drink, dude.
Totally, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've enjoyed time so far, and this is definitely going to happen again in a different capacity. But this is now your time to share whatever you want to plug. This is your camera. Anything you want to bring attention to, shout out, anything, right here.
Oh, mate, put me on the spot there.
Yes, sir.
I would say, look, thank you to Cycle News, to Sean Finley, and also to Paul Carruthers earlier in my career, because otherwise I would never have got the chance to come to America. Thanks to everybody that has given me the time of day in America, because a lot of people probably would rather see the back of me than the front of me. But no, I've had a rad time, man. I mean, America's awesome. The bike industry's fantastic. Like, it's just, mate, life's good. Can't complain.
Well, and with that, folks, Rennie Scaysbrook, we got him until they kick him out, at which point I'll have to go over there and bring him back. So I don't think you're going anywhere anytime soon.
Nah, I plan not to.
Yeah, but I appreciate your time, and I think it's our time. No cameras.
Let's go get a drink.
Let's go get a drink.
Nice.